Welcome to Sacred Dive. I'm Evangeline. So for any of you who don't know, I have sort of a working theory that like what we are is this vast just beingness, consciousness. It's not really my own theory. It's out there, right? But I can feel it, right? And that everything that comes up through this being is not us. So anything when you turn that awareness inward, anything that feels like painful or constricted or uncomfortable, like that's not you. So that could be anything, anxiety, shame, fear. And the more tightly we're identified with what is coming up through us, the more painful it's going to be, and the more we're actually going to operate from it. And this is a great working theory, and I had it really tested in me last week. I had something coming up through me that it was so raw and old. In fact, an old like trauma or wounding that I hadn't ever had access to the actual rawness of it, right? And that in itself, I was so grateful for. I still am so grateful for that, because before I just didn't have access to it. I kind of knew it was there, but just sort of my trauma hookup, my wounding hookup, was that something happened pretty young, and then there was this compensation, right, or this protection. And so I could never, and really a lot of the protection was to keep myself from having to feel that pain of the initial wounding, at least here in this life, right? And so that really made sense to me, because last week, as it started to actually be available to me, which might seem like a horrible thing, but it means that enough of that protection is relaxing or opening or melting in some way, that that raw, visceral, wounding pain that I've been protecting myself from was actually here, and it was like unmitigated. No membrane over it or barrier over it. I had the full experience of it. Likely, I kind of could reminisce, and it was like, I think it was what I started to experience, what I was experiencing really young, 1 or 2 years old. And at that point, I couldn't handle it. And so there was a protection put in place. And then that's sort of like the place, I operate from, or I operated from most of my life until last week. Actually, I probably still operate from there largely. Okay, so here's my nice feeling, this thing I think I've seen before of okay, I'm this peace, this space, this awareness, consciousness. And then there's just whatever is arising through me, like Rumi's guest house, Invite the guest in. It's not you, it's just a guest in your house. But with this rawness, even though I could feel the gratitude of feeling that raw, unmitigated, undisguised, unfiltered pain last week, there came a shame that I had this in me, right? Like, how could I ever show this to anyone? And that shame was so strong. If there's something you just feel is too shameful to ever show. And it's so hard. That's so hard. And the deep truth is it's not you. Like that isn't me. It's something arising through me. Right? And there's actually a purpose to it. It's arising through me. And one thing I think it does, this was my experience last week anyway, is it brought me so into the dark. I want to read you this thing that Meister Eckhart says. So hold on one sec, okay? Truly, it is in darkness that one finds the light. So when we are in sorrow, then this light is nearest of all to us. All right. I really bless you on your journey. Thank you.